Kesatria yang tak Butuh Sihir is not just a fantasy drama. It is a deeply layered emotional journey that blends power, identity, love, betrayal, and psychological transformation into one gripping narrative. Set in a world where magic defines status, authority, and survival, yet ironically the strongest man in this universe is the only one who does not possess magic at all. And from the very beginning the story establishes a brutal social hierarchy where individuals without magical ability are treated as inferior, discarded, and forgotten, and it is within this harsh system that our central character rises. A young man who is rejected, humiliated, and pushed to the edge of existence simply because he lacks magical power. Yet instead of breaking, he chooses to fight back, not through spells or supernatural strength, but through discipline, intelligence, physical endurance, and an unshakable will, making his journey not only inspiring, but also deeply relatable, as he represents the idea that true power lies not in gifts, but in resilience. And as the narrative unfolds we witness his transformation from a powerless outcast into a warrior whose presence alone begins to shake the foundations of a magic-dominated kingdom, while parallel to his rise, the story introduces a female lead from a noble lineage, a woman who embodies elegance, intelligence, and emotional depth, initially bound by her loyalty to the system, but gradually drawn toward the hero as she begins to see beyond his lack of magic and recognizes the strength of his character, leading to a slow-burning romance that feels genuine, fragile, and beautifully tragic, because even as their connection deepens, the world around them grows increasingly hostile, political tensions escalate, royal families engage in silent wars, and hidden agendas begin to surface, revealing that the kingdom itself is far more corrupt and unstable than it appears on the surface. And one of the most compelling aspects of the drama is how it blends personal relationships with larger political conflicts, making every emotional decision carry massive consequences, especially when the female lead is forced into a position where she must choose between protecting her kingdom and staying loyal to the man she loves. And this moment becomes the turning point of the entire story, as her decision, driven by pressure, fear, and manipulation, results in a betrayal that shatters the hero completely, not just emotionally but psychologically, marking the end of his innocence and the beginning of a darker, more complex phase of his journey. And what makes this betrayal even more powerful is that it is not born out of hatred, but out of helplessness, making it painfully realistic and emotionally devastating, while on the other side the antagonists in the story are not simple villains, but layered characters with their own motivations, including power-hungry rulers, manipulative strategists, and jealous rivals who all contribute to the hero's downfall in different ways, creating a web of conflict that feels intense and unpredictable. And as the hero begins to rebuild himself after being broken, we see a complete transformation in his personality, where the warmth and hope he once carried are replaced by cold determination and a thirst for justice, or perhaps revenge, blurring the line between hero and anti-hero. And visually the drama supports this transformation beautifully through its cinematic presentation, with stunning costumes, detailed set designs, dramatic lighting, and emotionally charged close-up shots that capture every nuance of the characters' inner struggles, making each scene feel impactful and immersive. And by the end of part 1, the story leaves us at a powerful emotional cliffhanger where the hero has lost everything he once cared about. The woman he loved has become a symbol of his pain, and the world that once rejected him is now unknowingly preparing for his return, setting the stage for a second act that promises not only action and revenge, but also deeper revelations about identity, truth, and the cost of power, leaving the audience emotionally invested and eager to see what happens next. As the second part of Kesatria Young Tak Butuh Sihir begins, the tone shifts dramatically from emotional tragedy to calculated intensity, as the hero re-enters the story not as the hopeful young man we once knew, but as a hardened, strategic force of nature whose presence alone creates tension in every scene. And what makes his return so compelling is the silence he carries, a silence filled with pain, anger, and unresolved love. And unlike traditional revenge-driven narratives, his actions are not reckless, but carefully planned, as he begins dismantling the very system that once crushed him from the inside, manipulating alliances, exposing corruption, and turning enemies against each other, showcasing not only his physical strength, but also his intellectual superiority, while on the other side the female lead is trapped in a prison of her own choices, living with overwhelming guilt and regret, constantly haunted by memories of what could have been. And her emotional arc in this part is just as powerful as the hero's, as she struggles between her duty and her lingering love, creating moments of intense emotional conflict whenever their paths cross again. And one of the most unforgettable aspects of this second half is the way the story handles their interactions, as there are no simple reconciliations or easy forgiveness, but instead layered conversations filled with unspoken emotions, where every glance, every pause, and every word carries weight, making their relationship feel painfully real, while the political landscape of the kingdom continues to evolve, revealing deeper conspiracies and hidden truths, including the shocking revelation that the hero's origins are far more significant than anyone could have imagined, as it is unveiled that he is connected to the royal bloodline itself, a truth that not only redefines his identity, but also explains why he was targeted and erased from the system in the first place, adding a powerful layer of destiny to his journey. And as this truth comes to light, the stakes of the story rise dramatically, leading to a final confrontation that is as emotional as it is explosive, where battles are fought not only with swords, but with words, memories, and choices. And in the climactic moments the hero is forced to make the ultimate decision between revenge and redemption, between destroying everything or choosing to break the cycle of pain. And it is this internal conflict that gives the ending its depth, as the resolution is not a simple victory, but a bittersweet conclusion where justice is served but at a significant cost, leaving both the characters and the audience changed by the journey. And visually the drama reaches its peak in these final moments, with